Radioactive quackery is quackery that improperly promotes radioactivity as therapy for illnesses. Unlike radiotherapy, which is scientifically sound use of radiation for the destruction of cells, usually cancer cells, quackery pseudoscientifically promotes involving radioactive substances as a method of healing for cells and tissues. It was most popular during the 20th century after the discovery in 1896 of radioactive decay. The practice was slightly declined but is still actively practiced by some. Rabbithole is a solution of radium salts, which was claimed by its developer, William J. A. Bailey, to have curative properties. Industrialist Eben Byers died in 1932 from ingesting it in large quantities. Rabbithole. Radioactive water contains radium and mesothorium in a triple distilled water. It's good medicine, right? That's good shit. Rabbithole is a patent medicine that is well known for an example of radioactive quackery, and is specifically of excessively broad and pseudoscientific application of the principle of radiation hormesis. It consists of triple distilled water containing at a minimum 1 microcurie each of the radium-226 and 228 isotopes. The time of rabbithole and radioactive elixirs ended in 1932 with the premature death of one of its most fervent users, Eben Byers. American industrialists, the history of rabbithole is considered an excessive and pseudo-scientific application of radiation hormesis. This history has led to the strengthening of regulatory control over pharmaceutical and radioactive products. Personally, I think this shit could cure COVID. I think this shit could cure COVID if they. That's why they're controlling it. This is what you need right here. Eben Byers. Ebenezer McBurney Byers, it's a great name, was a wealthy American socialite, athlete, and industrialist. He won the 1906 U.S. Amateur in golf. Okay. He earned notoriety in the early 1930s when he died from multiple radiation-induced cancers after consuming rabbithole, a popular patent medicine made of radium dissolved in water. See Exhibit A. This is Byers. This man just ate radiation. He consumed it. Some industrialist Alexander Byers, educated at St. Paul's, reputation as an athlete, who's an U.S. amateur golf champion. In 1927, Byers injured his arm falling from a railway sleeping berth. How do you do that? For the persistent pain for a broken arm, for the pain from a broken arm, a doctor suggested he take rabbithole, which once again is radium in distilled water. Bailey, who created rabbithole, was a Harvard University dropout. Of course he was, who falsely claimed to be a doctor of medicine and to become rich from the sale of rabbithole, or is it rabbithole? A solution of radium in water which he claimed stimulated the endocrine system. He offered the physician a 1 to 6 kickback on each dose prescribed. Yeah, there it is. This is how you get your drug into the market, people. This is right there. If this happened in the 80s, there would have been a radioactivity epidemic, not an opioid one. Byers began taking several doses of rabbithole per day, believing it gave him a toned-up feeling, but stopped in October 1930 after taking some 1,400 doses. Jesus Christ. When that effect faded, he lost weight and had headaches, and his teeth began to fall out. In 1930, the Federal Trade Commission asked him to testify about his experience, but he was too sick to travel, so the commission sent a lawyer to take his statement at his home. The lawyer reported that Byers' whole upper jaw except for 2 front teeth, and most of his lower jaw had been removed, and all the remaining bone tissue of his body was disintegrating, and holes were actually forming in his skull. Oh no. Oh no. His death was on March 31st, 1932, was attributed to radiation poisoning using the terminology at the time, but it was due to cancers, not acute radiation syndrome. He was buried in Allegheny Cemetery in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a lead-lined coffin. Byers' death received much publicity and was heightened awareness of dangerous radioactive cures. The Federal Trade Commission issued an order against Bailey's business to cease and desist various representations theretofore made by them as to the therapeutic value of rabbithole, and from presenting that the product rabbithole is harmless. He later founded the Radium Institute in New York and marketed a radioactive belt clip, a radioactive paperweight, and a mechanism which purported to make water radioactive. Why? After exhuming Byers' body in 1965, MIT physicist Rob Lee Evans estimated Byers' total radium intake was about 1,000. That number right there. Whatever that is. It seems like a lot. I don't know. So, just to make it very clear, radium, this is what this guy was drinking. This guy is just drinking this shit. He was just slurping that shit down. Radium is a chemical element with the symbol Ra and atomic number 88. It is the 6th element in group 2 of the periodic table, also known as the alkaline earth metals. All isotopes of radium are highly radioactive, with the most stable isotope being radium-226, which has a half-life of 1,600 years and decays into radon gas. When radium decays, ionizing radiation is a byproduct which can elicit fluorescent chemicals and cause radioluminescence. Radioluminescence is very fun to say, and is a phenomenon by which light is produced in a material by bombardment with ionizing radiation, such as alpha particles, beta particles, or gamma rays. Radioluminescence is used as a low light level source for night illumination of instruments or signage. Radioluminescent paint used to be used for clock hands and instrument dials, enabling them to be read in the dark. Radioluminescence is also sometimes seen around high power radiation sources, such as nuclear reactors and radioisotopes. So radioactive things do indeed glow green. But the question is, did Eben Byers glow green? Perhaps William J.A. Bailey knows the answer. William John Alloy Ice. See it. What the fuck? Who names their. Who? What is this? Hold on. Aloysius is a Latinization of the name Alois, Luis, Luigi, and Ludwig. You know, they could have named him any one of those, and it would have been fine. But no, they had to go with the fucking pretentious Latinized version. Name is rare, with babies receiving the name less than 0% of the time in the 1940s, mainly among Roman Catholics, according to the Social Security Ministry data. Well, if it's popular around Roman Catholics, I guess that's fine. Okay, William J.A. Bailey was an American patent medicine inventor and salesman. Dropped out of Harvard University, Bailey falsely claimed to be a doctor of medicine and promoted the use of radioactive radium as a cure for coughs, flu, and other common ailments. To be fair, this was the time where they were using such things as heroin and cocaine to treat similar things, so I don't think he was very far off the mark here. Yeah, no, he's still within kind of like that range. Actually, when did they... Hold on. That's not right. When did they use heroin for medicine? No, I don't need help with substance abuse. I need to know the history of heroin. Heroin, medicinal uses. Pain medication. Okay, yeah, but like, remember, hey, Wikipedia, do you remember when people fucking used heroin to cure coughs? Remember that? Heroin, cough, medicine. Since heroin is about twice as potent as cough suppressant as morphine, the small oral doses required for cough suppression will probably produce a habituation in only a few patients when it is first introduced. That's interesting, okay. But when am I thinking of? Like, what time period did they use this sort of thing? Opium. Is it opium or is it heroin? I know it's the same thing. Cough medicine. Laudanum. So laudanum is a tincture of opium containing approximately 10% powdered opium by weight, equivalent of 1% morphine. Contains several opium alkaloids, including morphine. So it's morphine, opium, codidine. Laudanum is historically used to treat a variety of conditions, but its principal use was pain medication, cough suppressant. Till the 20th century, it was used without a prescription, consisted in maybe patient medicines. 17th century, 1914. Okay, anyway, back to this guy. Anyway, point is, not the stupidest thing anybody's ever used for medicine. Bailey's Radium Laboratories in East George, New Jersey was continually investigated by the Federal Trade Commission. He died wealthy from his many devices and products, including an aphrodisiac called Arium. I gotta look that one up. Marked as a restorative that renewed happiness and youthful thrill to the lives of married couples whose attractions to each other had weakened. Okay, but was the Arium radioactive? Was the Arium radioactive? That's my question. Aphrodisiac? 3 brazen quacks. Rabbithole. But what is an Arium? William. Okay. I need to know if this guy was selling radioactive Viagra. That's what I need to know. Oh look, he was a Gemini. Look at that. Bailey died of bladder cancer. His body was exhumed. He was found to be ravaged by radiation. Well, I mean, I would think so. But what was in the Arium? God damn it! I'm just gonna assume it was radioactive Viagra, because that's his whole brand. Like, it can't be anything else. Like, there's no way this guy used like fucking natural supplements, or you know, there's no way this is how this worked. Attended Boston Line School. He accepted at Harvard University but did not graduate. Claimed that radium added to drinking water could be used to treat dozens of conditions from mental illness to headaches to diabetes, anemia, constipation, and asthma. I mean, I guess technically if you get cancer, it kind of cures all those because you die? I don't know. Arium radium tablets. So I'm right, yeah! So it's still radium! He's selling radioactive Viagra! It's just radium in tablets, and he's like, yeah, this will help. company also sold linarium, radium limited for aches and pains, dentarium, radium. So this guy's just like, hey, do you have any fucking problem? Radium, that's the answer. Caparanium, radium hair tonic. The last thing radiation does is give you hair, my guy. It's like the opposite of what radiation does. It's like the first thing it does is get rid of your hair. This guy just found radium and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna eat that. I assume he ate his own products and this is why he had bladder cancer. It was ravaged by radiation. And radioactive Viagra. Hell yeah.